Hi, Hannah.
Hi, Annika.
I'm glad to be on this call with you finally to tell the world the legend of Next Culture Motherhood. So, in the next 30 to 40 minutes, I would love to have a conversation with you about how does that go? How does Next Culture Motherhood, Next Culture Child Raising go? What is it that you're doing to change the paradigm? And also, I would like to share how it's going for me to do this on a team together with you. And just for people who are listening, to give a little bit of an introduction, Hannah and I been on this journey for probably about 2 years now to embark a different vision on how pregnancy and how child raising could go if it was to happen in a village rather than in a nuclear family context, doing it all by yourself, even as a single mother. And so I accompanied Hannah as a coach. We were doing this as an experiment, as a coach alongside your pregnancy. And then I was also at the birth of Evelyn, together with you and Elliot, holding space for your free birth that you chose to do at the time. And I'm still on the journey with you, living in a house now in an experiment with 3 other adults and a dog and Evelyn, to see how that goes, how that can go to expand into the bigger village step by step, to support Evelyn in her evolution to become a whole human, which she already is, but to grow into her adult, like to walk alongside her, and then also for us to keep changing shape, and how that goes as us being adults, growing up into our adults, to be alongside her, be on her team. So yeah, would you like to share with me how Next Culture Motherhood and Next Culture Child Raising looks like for you?
Next culture, motherhood and child raising. Yeah, I think a lot of it, like, so for example, right now, my center just went because I heard her crying, and so and then I come back to my center and I tune into my intuition, and I'm like, okay, am I needed right now, or can Elliot hold space for that? So I think a lot of it is about intuition in related to next culture motherhood, tuning back into what intuition is and how to listen to it, and how it feels in the body also. So reconnecting to this part, this forgotten part, it seems.
Yeah, go with
Yeah.
that. How does that go, that forgotten part? There was a feeling there.
Yeah, there's a fear. I feel fear because it's so unknown. It's like my intuition is my intuition. I can't rely on anybody else to tell me how it goes. And that's really scary because I grew up in a culture where I learned to rely on external authorities, and I gave my center away, and so I'm in the midst of reversing that, and it's really scary, and really scary to to know that I am the adult, I'm the responsible adult then. I cannot blame anyone else. I cannot fall into old patterns. Well, I can, and it doesn't work. So it's really this journey of learning to trust myself, learning to listen to myself. Also, as well as that, listening to myself and trusting myself, also learning how to be a team and like rely on this kind of healthy interdependence that can happen when a team comes together and works in harmony. And I believe that we are in the midst of figuring that out together, you and I and the rest of the house. And it's also a really scary and turbulent journey. It's like the exact opposite of what is happening in modern culture, which I see as very individualistic and separatist, and also enmeshed on the other scale. So it's like, how can we be a team and stay in our own energy and information and share that and collaborate together? So, and in a wider sense, I think it's also about like how, because I see that Evelyn is thriving with so many other people around, and so and for example, with you, Annika, she asks for you. It's like, Annika, Anka, and I love that. I love that she's so like immersed and also attached to others, to you and Sana and Adrian and Elliot, and it's like having different role models and different people to be by her side, and also by mine and Elliot's side, through the parenting journey. And also it's amazing practice for you who wants to be a mother, and for Sana also, and Adrian eventually, when I believe he wants to be a father. And yeah, it's like I never had that practice myself, and I think it's an amazing opportunity to see how it goes. Yeah.
And I would say it's, I'm bringing myself in and just adding to your vision to grow this vision that we're holding together in some ways. This, but also for the others to grow into being a mother and a father without having a biological child yet, right? So listening to Tristan Gertwood on his latest Hcast with Julia about fatherhood, and then also having had explorations myself around how does this go being in a village and stepping into the role of the mother, whether I have a biological child or not, and what is in the way, or what is the opportunities also for me to step into that. Like, where have I been conditioned into believing that being a mother means that I need to have birthed a child, and what are my possibilities and opportunities there to step into that. And yeah, in some ways, like doing it anyway, regardless of this idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, like the even bigger picture then to me is like, wow, like how, how, I mean, this is, who knows, but like how does it go, within the future? It doesn't really matter anymore who gives birth to the children, because there's a whole crew that's looking after them, not just the adults and also the children, right? So the next step that I also see is that at the moment Evelyn is immersed with adults in the space, and there are no other children around in the house that can take on other roles, I guess, or other it's almost like there's a necessity for them also to do things with her or to be with her in a way that I cannot. Like there's a limited accessibility. Of course, I can go into the forest with her and play fairies if I want to, and that reminds me then of another world that I normally don't have access to. And it's different if she has a child around that's her age or that's a little bit older. And then also for the younger children that might be 8 or so to learn that this is part of how the village operates, that you take care of the younger children and you keep learning and sharing and guiding, and this ongoing passing on skills and keeping on being connected also to the younger ones to not forget what it's like to learn and to not forget what it's like to be, and having all these generations lined up so that, yeah, I guess I don't even know what it is. Like there's something in like, yeah, that her cup is completely full with something that I have a sense that I cannot give her as the adult that I am.
Yeah, and when I hear you speak just then, it's like, yeah, it gives me this image of, me as a mother at home on my own with Evelyn. It's really not feeding either of us in a way that is beneficial or is going to allow us to thrive, either of us. And so, yeah, creating this village, like this kind of seed of a village that we have here, yeah, to enable the thriving of everyone within it. Yeah, and I think this absolutely comes with everyone from zero to elderhood. Yeah, I think this is really necessary, the full spectrum together.
I have this question on like something you touched on just before you were sharing, that there are patterns, old patterns that don't work or they're no longer serving. And I'm curious, if you look back throughout your whole pregnancy, giving birth, living at TUI community, so you lived in a community with 45 adults and children before we were living here, and now you're here in this house, in this experiment for 6 months with adults and a dog. And how have you been in your own way to make this vision happen? What patterns are not serving, or what patterns are also in the way for Evelyn to step into your vision? And the second follow-up question is, what is working? What steps have you been taking that are showing results, like that are results that are working for both you and her and the rest of the people involved?
What immediately comes up is my incapacity to really ask for what it is that I really want. Like I think I have the vision and I have what is necessary in me, and I have so many fears about the clarity of that and bringing that and asking for that. So that has been a big hindrance on my journey. And at the same time, I have also been able to step into it in a smaller way. So being able to ask for certain things and for some things. So for example, space holders for Evelyn throughout the entire throughout her entire lifespan, really, already. And this has allowed spaciousness for me also, which in turn then allows me to be more present with her, which, yeah, is really beneficial, and also then brings joy also to the people who spend time with her. And yeah, and I think in a bigger way, what's holding me back is being able to ask for something bigger. And in a way, like, creating what we have here is one step further towards that.
What is it that you would be asking for if you were to ask right now?
I feel my fear, and it's like, yeah, well, it's really asking then the people here, like, to what level then is their commitment? Like, what is your commitment then on the scale of where you are now to next culture, motherhood or parenthood, and how do we go further together along that?
So
Or
that doesn't sound dangerous enough for me yet. I have a sense we have another layer there. So
no,
dig
that's already
deeper.
fairly dangerous for me. Like,
Okay,
yeah.
go another level. Like if you
Okay.
were to hold a throat, if you were to hold a sword at people's throat right now, with your love present, like your sadness being alive in it and the vision being there, what would you say? What would you ask for? What would you take a stand for?
Mm, okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, my fear just gets right in the way of this.
Yeah,
This is
write
what
it.
is in the way.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
write
my
it.
fear. Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I even notice my fear actually blurring what it is that is clear within me. So it like has
Mm.
this mechanism of confusing or pushing away my clarity. So okay, well, Annika, like I've heard you say that you're committed to next culture motherhood and helping mothers and whilst I see you on that journey, I also see where there are blockages for you from really stepping into that. And while you are here, like this is a huge, like it's an opportunity for you to step in and really kind of find your own cross on the map with where you are now, and maybe if you're gonna birth your own child in the future. And so I want to know what is preventing you from really stepping in.
Mm-hmm. It seems like it's the surrender that a mother does naturally when she's pregnant and she's prepared to the surrender that life is going to change and that she's no longer going to be what she's been before. And somehow it seems to me that I'm not prepared. Like there's no preparation for it. I'm stuck with the patterns and I'm stuck with my stuck being this individual that fights in some ways, but like lives by herself on her own to make life happen, whether that's earning money or whether that's creating teams or holding spaces and creating events for people to go through transformation and holding space for Evelyn whenever my impulse comes. So there's a lot about my impulse that, like with Evelyn, is a lot around my impulse that drives my connection with her. And I enjoy that in a sense that I then really want it. Like I then really want to connect with her, and I celebrate that. I celebrate that I'm not coming from a place of needing to be there for her or forcing myself into what I said I would do, and then I'm becoming a construct of this person that helps, that should do certain things. And the lack of stepping into it, it seems similar to what you say. It's like I don't even know how. It's like, what is that? It's like it doesn't exist. When I look at Tristan, he's in a family unit and he's choosing to be in the family unit, and I think I would need to choose to be in the family unit, like, and it's not even the family unit. I would need to choose that this is my village, like this is the place that I commit to, and I don't think it's just committing to Evelyn, it's committing to everyone in the village. So in some ways, it seems to be the bigger journey that I'm on at the moment to get like the sensation of like, what does it mean to be on a team, and how am I being on the team, and how am I receiving the team as well, and what is in my way to do that. And I think a big story about it is that there's a healing process still for me to be done around like they will eventually kick me out. Like I'm not, like if I say yes and I give my all, then eventually all the other people that haven't really fully committed, because they need to also commit while I commit, this fairness business, they will make different choices or have different ideas. Or you and Elliot and Evelyn, you will still reverse back to being this family of three, and you might make decisions for the family that then don't involve me, depending on where you're at in your commitment. And so then I go into this, well, I'd rather make sure that I can pull myself out early enough so that the pain is not big enough. And this is a pattern that I have in relationship, and this is a community pattern. I think this is a big pattern that I have alive around stepping into team. And yeah, I guess the other day, like the sensation that I found was like, how does this go when I'm fully in service without expecting anything back, without it being an exchange in that moment, like just coming from a place of love and surrender into what life is offering. Yeah.
Thank you, Annika.
I would love to hear from you. What or is there anything else that you would like to share in terms of what is in the way, or what's working, or what is not working at the moment for you from where you are right now?
Before I go there, I just want to touch on what you brought up about kind of this process of committing, and because this is something that has been floating around for me, and I know that we as a house will decide at the end of this month, I believe, whether we will commit to a project after this project together. So yeah, and something you say about this commitment, it's like I have in my mind this image of this process where we it's like a commitment process then that we go through, and I don't know how that goes. It's just something that I wanted to bring up, and also something that I think I remember Tristan saying something about this, and I haven't listened to his Edgecast yet, but something like his commitment that he made to being in the family and what that then means. So yeah, I see something like this as a possibility for us. And yeah, and I want to touch also briefly on what you mentioned at the end there of this love piece, and what I like, part of my vision is really like to know and to know that whatever I give to any child will benefit future generations and like the future of the culture of humanity. Like this is really what is at the core for me of this vision. It's like, yeah, raising the children, not just raising my child, raising the children in a way that is serving the greater peace. Like, yeah, what I want to say about that.
How is it serving the greater peace? Can you be more specific about that?
Gosh, it feels like there's so many little threads to it, and I think if I can do my part in raising children the way that I can hold space for children, so giving my gifts, holding space for feelings, holding space for the interactions between infants and toddlers at this stage, and knowing that, or having a sense that this will be creating something different for the future. It's like already giving these children some tools, tools of social interaction and of inner navigation within themselves. And like, this is basically what we're doing now, trying to reverse years of not just trauma, but trauma and also just a lack of social skills, it seems, and a lack of being able to negotiate with people. And so what I see is, yeah, if I and other adults around me can hold space for children in that way already, then this will create something incredible as they grow. And then imagine what they can do. Like, if we're trying to change the culture now, and yeah, if we can give that to our children, then it's like, yeah, we're setting up the future, basically.
What I'm hearing you say is, if I put it into my words, is that you're, as an adult, you and I, we're committed to growing into our adult, like growing up, cleaning up our messes, and raising the level of responsibility that we take, so that we won't leave as many messes on this planet that we're inhabiting at the moment in the future. And so if we can do that, and if we can support our children to grow up where we have not had the support to grow up in the past, then they already have a head start in some ways, because they grow up with a higher level of responsibility, and in that they will have the skills to, like you say, negotiate, the skills to ask for what they want, to feel their feelings, to navigate life, to live their purpose, and not get carried away by an idea how life should or could go, that they've learned from an outside authority. So that they can then take their hands into their life. They go through the initiations that we never had, because we are wanting to set up a space where they can go through those initiations. And then who knows? We don't know how that looks like yet. And I guess this is the future that you talk about, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, thank you, Hannah, for living the vision and walking the steps with me and the others involved to that different future. I'm glad to be on the team with you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really glad to have you on my team and by my side.